Suki. I serve as the chair of the Convention Rules Committee. I also want to recognize and thank our Vice Chair, Renee Raab, for her assistance and service to the committee. Before we begin, I want to thank all of you for volunteering your time and participating in this process. The Rules Committee plays an important role in reviewing proposed amendments to the party's governing documents and ensuring that convention process is conducted fairly, transparently, and in accordance with the party's constitution, bylaws, and standing rules. The meeting is being conducted pursuant to 2026 Convention Standing Rules and Convention Rules. Notice of this meeting was provided in accordance with party requirements, including posting on the party calendar and distribution of the agenda and meeting materials. Tonight's meeting is being conducted virtually by Zoom webinar. Committee members, administrators, and scribes are participating as panelists. Other delegates and party members may attend as webinar attendees. At this time, I will ask for roll call and confirmation of quorum. Phil, can you do that for us?
Give me 1 second to get set up. Hold on.
Sure.
Jesse, this is Bronson here. I'll take care of calling the roll, and I have your spreadsheet and your attendees listed here.
That's great. Thank you, Bronson.
Yeah. So I apologize. This is out of order just because of how the spreadsheet is set up, but I'll just go ahead and go down the list. So Michael Goloyu Sr.
Here.
Thank you. Chair Jesse Suki.
Here.
Member Donna Domingo.
Here.
Thank you. Member Richard Oshiro.
Here.
Thank you. Member Martha Randolph.
Yes, I'm here.
Thank you. Member Anthony Makana Paris.
Aloha.
Mahalo. Member John Chinen.
Present.
Mahalo. Member Kate Stanley.
Here.
Mahalo. Member Troy Hashimoto.
Here.
Mahalo. Member Abby Simmons. I see Abby on. Member Linda Chong. Member Linda Chong. Absent. Member Elizabeth Holmes.
Here.
Thank you. Vice Chair Renee Raab.
Here.
Thank you. Member Elton Fukumoto. Member Elton Fukumoto. Present. Member Michael Goloyu Jr.
Present.
Thank you. Member Eileen Wada. I see Auntie Eileen there. Mark her down. And then finally, Member Micah Kalama. Not present. Chair Suki, I just want to make note that Linda Chong has joined the meeting. I'll mark her as present, and she just joined.
Is that 15?
Correct. You have 15 members of your committee.
Thank you. The record should reflect that a quorum is present. Under the committee meeting rules, quorum of the Rules Committee is 13 appointed members, and no voting may take place without quorum. A few procedural reminders before we proceed. Only appointed committee members may vote. Committee members seeking recognition to speak should use the raised hand feature and wait to be recognized by the chair. Members may speak twice on each question for no more than 3 minutes per speech unless the committee adopts additional limits on debate. Under the standing rules, amendments must be submitted in writing through the Zoom chat. Scribes will assist with ensuring or entering amendments into the working document in suggestion mode. Please also remember that discourteous or insulting speech is out of order and may result in loss of debate privileges or removal from the meeting if repeated. Tonight's agenda is primarily focused on a full draft review of the Consolidated Rules Committee report. We'll proceed section by section through the draft report, consider motions and amendments as appropriate, and identify any unresolved issues requiring additional work before the committee's report deadline on May 17th, 2026. I also want to emphasize that the draft report circulated in advance is a working draft prepared to facilitate committee discussion. It does not predetermine whether the committee will approve, amend, reject, or take any action on any proposal. With that, we'll proceed to item 2 on the agenda, overview of the committee process. I hope you all had an opportunity to review the rules of the committee and standing rules. Like I said, the time and submission deadline, we need to do a final report on May 17th. And given that we just have the week, 4 meetings total, that's why I started by preparing a draft report. So whatever we end up with by our 3rd meeting or the 4th, if we need one, that is what we'll submit. Agenda item 3, consideration of the draft report. You all should have access, but I'll share it. Give me a second. Let's see. I think it's this one. All right. Can you folks see what do you see? You see the draft report?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Let me get back to the Zoom, wherever that thing went. Where did my Zoom disappear to? Oh, there it is. Okay, you can still see the draft report? Yeah, okay, thank you.
Yes, you can make
so-
it bigger by doing where it says 100%, you can make it like 200%.
Yeah, I don't want to make it too big. I'll do this, okay?
Yeah, see how it's bigger? Yeah.
Yeah, so this is the cover page that they require. I did a table of contents. We have the report of the Rules Committee. These are the documents that were submitted. I inserted the text, and you'll find this in the folder. There's a folder in the shared drive where all of the submissions are. And so I just took those and I put them in this report. I have a holding page for rules not recommended if we choose to not recommend something. And I have a referred to resolutions committee. We don't have to do that, but that was in the 2018 report in case there's anything we want to refer. This is the draft that I filled in of what they have. It's a template for the rules committee report. So I put all 17 members there. 6 proposals is what we have. We have 0 late proposals. We'll meet 4 times if needed. So that's that. And then this is the first item we need to consider. This is the draft privacy and protection amendments. If you want to see what it looked like as it was submitted, you can open it up in the folder and look at it. I put it in here. I did not change any substance. I just did the formatting and stuck it in here. And if there was language in the proposal that said something like, here's what the original rule was, and here's the change, I took out the original rule because for the report purposes, we don't need the original. We just need the changes. So this is the first. This is, by the way, this first one is the recommendation of the Rules Committee. So the SCC Rules Committee. So what say you, committee? Any motions?
This is John Chenette. I move to adopt.
Mike below you.
We get- Somebody recording the votes just to be sure we're getting it.
Yes.
Thank you.
I will also,
Discussion?
I will also record.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Renee.
Sure.
Discussion?
What are we adopting here?
Would the maker of the motion want to talk about what we're adopting?
Okay, this is the section 14 amendment to Article 8 of the general provisions of the DPH Constitution. We worked on this in the State Central Committee Rules Committee, and this corrects this, or it addresses one of the issues that occurred during the last state convention where I guess you can say we had something of a breach. So it provides it provides some member it provides a very high degree of protection for members' privacy and data as it pertains to their information that is controlled by the party.
And just to clarify, are you moving to adopt just the section 14 amendment, or are you approving to adopt the whole submission of the rules committee?
Oh, I thought we were just going to go by section, but if
Okay,
we're
that's
going to go
fine.
for the whole thing, then
We can go section by section. So this is just for section 14. Any further discussion? I see Anthony Paris raised his hand. Go ahead, Anthony.
Okay. Aloha, Mr. Chair. I have a question regarding the disciplinary action clause within section 14. Is there a particular reason why the committee deemed that it should be elevated to the constitutional level? Because it will be the only disciplinary action called out in the Constitution versus in the bylaws. So if we could ask for their reasoning, that would be super helpful.
So section 14 is referencing any unauthorized access, disclosure, or use of such data is prohibited and shall be grounds for disciplinary action. And then disciplinary action is defined elsewhere in the Constitution. Anyone want to add to that?
I'm more than happy.
Thank you, Michael. Proceed.
We just referenced the disciplinary action to the thing because our data is our number one asset for this party. Our membership database is our number one asset. And we felt that when we talked in the Standing Rules Committee, was that we needed to make sure people understood that violating this was that egregious that they needed to be aware that if you violate this, will be grounds for disciplinary action, and disciplinary action is spelled out in our bylaws.
Kate, you had your hand up?
Well, yes, but it's not pertain to this discussion. So when you're in between discussing things, I'd like to raise my hand. This
Okay,
isn't
thank you.
about this.
Any further discussion on this amendment? There's another raised hand. Where is it? I see Kate. Okay, whoever raised their hand besides Kate. I can't find the raised hand.
No problem, Mr. Chair. It's McConnell or Anthony Paris
Oh,
again.
he, okay. Got you.
No problem. So after hearing what the committee member clarified, so is it the signaling that the data breaches is the highest level of disciplinary action that the Democratic Party is doing? Because if it's not, then we should put it into the bylaws for that clause, which I don't think would change it being disciplinary action, because disciplinary action is only articulated on Article 1, Section 5 in general. There's no other substantive. We're not saying that if you miss these meetings or if you stink about somebody, nothing else is clarified as a disciplinary action in the Constitution.
I would just add that so disciplinary action is defined under Article 1, Section 5 of the Constitution, as you say. And what it says there is, can you folks see the Constitution? Or do you still see the
Yes.
report?
Yeah.
Okay.
What's
So it
that?
says a member of the Democratic Party of Hawaii shall be subject to expulsion, suspension, reprimand, removal from a meeting, or censure for reasons and in keeping with procedures provided by the bylaws of the Democratic Party. And then in the bylaws, there's some language about that. So I got to search it so I can memorize all these things. Let's see. Disciplinary, there's a section in here about it. Oh, where is it? It's in the bylaws somewhere. Folks, remember from the committee where that was?
It's
here.
our section 7.
Expulsion, Section 7, that's the one. So grounds for expulsion, suspension, or reprimand under Section 7, it talks about mandatory expulsion, automatically expelled for the following reasons: membership with a different party, permissive expulsion, suspension, or reprimand. It talks about promotion of a political party, failure of the candidate and elected, violation of the Constitution, conviction of sexual assault. And then there's procedures for expulsion, suspension, or reprimand. So there's a whole process. So it leaves some discretion for the central committee to consider how they would like to enforce it. And I think we left it open purposely. Censure, is in here, which is minor case of censure. Maybe what you're asking is that we have the exact level of disciplinary action?
No, Mr. Chair. My question was clarifying if the committee in their thought process felt that this disciplinary action was penultimate because it is going to be elevated to the Constitution, while all other disciplinary actions are in the bylaws per Article 1, Section 5. This is the only disciplinary action that's going to be in the Constitution.
I see.
So if there's not this, what they wanted to signal, I think it's fine with the bylaws and being there, not a problem. It's just it could cause a signaling issue if that wasn't the intent. If that is the intent of the committee and there's rationale behind that, I, as a committee member, would like to be able to articulate that to others that's going to come and be like, why is this disciplinary action higher than the rest?
May I speak to this, Jesse?
Yeah, go ahead, Martha. Thank you.
Okay. Anthony, this is put in to specifically reference the fact that any such action is going to be addressed with a disciplinary action. We have not spelled out which of the several choices of disciplinary actions which you have mentioned and which are in the bylaws would be selected. But what was missing before was the specific reference to violation of data usage as being subject to some kind of disciplinary action. We had such an incident. We had a panel review the case, and they came to the conclusion that there was nothing specific in the Constitution that said there was a problem with using the data in that way. So this is to rectify that, and that's all it says. It doesn't define the level of discipline that is required, and so we'll see how strong it is. Michael Goilo, Jr. Galoyo, if I am wrong, correct me, please.
I see that Anthony's hand is raised again, but does anyone else have anything to add? Michael?
Yeah. To answer, yes, we are signaling that this is one of the most egregious things you can do is misuse our data. And that was one of the things that we need to send, because one of the biggest complaints I got when I was membership chair was, what are you going to do with my data? Who's going to protect my data? What are you going to do? And well, this is responding to what happened in 2024. That is not the only single case that we've had of people stealing our data, misusing our data. And so we need this is getting us back to the basics of making sure our members can trust us, can trust this party when they give us their data, that we are able to, that we will take it seriously. And yeah, the 2024 was just the latest one of what's happened.
Mahalo. I'm good.
Good. Any further debate on this item? Seeing none, let's take a vote. But before I do that, I probably should have looked at this before I started this meeting. But for unanimous votes, is it? I have to first ask if 5 people want the roll call, right? Is that what it is? Yeah. Okay. So first, I'm going to ask: does anyone want to take the roll call vote? If I get 5 votes, I'll do a roll call. Going once, going twice. Motion carries by unanimous consent. Thank you. Moving on to bylaws. Oh, Kate, yes, go ahead, Kate.
Yes. Thank you, Chair, and all the members. 2 years ago, I made a similar statement that I'm going to make now, but I am going to vote. Last time I didn't vote yes on any amendment. I would like the next chair to create an ad hoc committee to take a overall look at the Constitution and the bylaws. It makes me somewhat nervous that we amend them every convention without an overall look. So that's just my recommendation, but I intend to vote on. Unlike 2 years ago, I voted no. I'm not going to vote no on everything.
Okay,
Thank
you,
you.
Kate. I'll say we add that to our next agenda, and we'll get through this stuff. Thank you.
Okay.
Don't let me forget.
No.
We're moving on to Article 1, amendment. You can see the proposed amendment there. This was also a recommendation from the SEC Rules Committee. This is related to data security and oversight.
I move to accept as presented.
Thank you for the motion, Michael. Is there a second?
Second.
Who was that?
Second, it's Renee.
Oh, Renee. Thank you, Renee. Debate, discussion? Seeing none. Does anyone want a roll call vote on this? I need 5 hands for a roll call. Seeing none, motion carries unanimously. Moving on to Article 9, general provisions. This is also an SEC Rules Committee recommendation. This also relates to data.
I move, this is Michael Glory Jr. I move that we pass that as presented.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Kate, moved by Michael Jr. Any debate or discussion? Seeing none, I need 5 votes for roll call. Do I get 5? Seeing none, motion carries. Thank you. On to Article 5, State Central Committee, Amendment of Bylaws, Section 9 regarding committees. This is also related to data protection. This is also recommended by the State Central Committee Rules Committee.
I move that we pass as presented.
Second.
Motion made. Who did the second?
Kate.
Kate. Motion made by Michael Galoya Jr., seconded by Kate Stanley. Discussion, debate. Hearing none. 5 votes for a roll call. Seeing none, motion carries by consent. This is DPH bylaws, Article 1, Section 7. This is also a recommendation by the State Central Committee. This is related to State Central Committee Rules Committee. This also relates to data, and this is the expulsion, suspension, reprimand section. I see Kate's hand raised.
No, I'm sorry, made a mistake.
Okay. Motion,
I move that we pass as circulated. Presented.
Second.
motion made by Michael Galoya Jr., seconded by Kate Stanley. Any discussion or debate? Seeing none, I need 5 votes for a roll call if you want a roll call. Seeing none, passes by consent. Thank you. Now we get to the fun stuff. This is party-run presidential primary committee. This is amendment to DPH bylaws, Article 5, State Central Committee. Do I get a motion?
I move that we bypass this one and send it back to the maker so they can comply with the Rule 5.1 of the standing rules for submissions to this body. It failed to provide they only provided us the Ramsey format we needed per 5.1. 5.1 we needed they needed to state the article section, subsections, and page numbers, present the present text. They gave us what their changes requested, but then they needed to provide us a rationale and let us know who this impacts. So, yeah. I'm not saying I'm for or against it. This is just following our rules, as you stated earlier at the beginning of this, that we send it back to the maker and give them time to provide us that information.
Do I get a second?
Donna Domingo, second.
Debate? Discussion? Just so you see exactly what they submitted, I'm going to put up on the screen the certified submission, which is this one. This is exactly what they submitted. Kate, you're recognized.
Okay, so I was one of the co-chairs of the PPP committee, so I kind of like this amendment. And I don't know if anybody contacted Mina, who's the maker of the amendment, to ask her to comply with the rule. I think that should have been done. And if we send it back, that's okay. If we don't send it back and act on it, that's okay too.
Elton, I see your hand raised. You're recognized.
Yes, thank you, Chair. I would like to support this motion. I found this very difficult to read, and I was unable to figure out just by what you have on the screen where it's from. I had to look carefully, and I found it. But I'd like to know the rationale, but that rationale is not presented to us, so we don't really know what these changes are trying to do. So I would like to support Michael's motion and have it sent back to the maker. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion or debate on this item? Yes, Kate, you're recognized.
If it's sent back to the maker, will you provide sufficient time and clear direction of what the maker is supposed to do and by when?
I'll say 2 things on that. One is the deadline's already passed. So I think if we send it back, that would be the end of it. The second thing I'll say is we at the committee can amend it and make it right if we wanted to. It's our choice. So, we can kill it or we can fix it. I don't have any feeling one way or the other. I let the committee decide. Yes, Donna, you're recognized.
Oh, thank you, Jesse. I sat in the PPP committee, and this was brought up on the last meeting. that we were ready to close and finish off. So I had some reservations only because I needed to understand it. I too think this is something's good, but I'm torn in between because there are, we asked them for, the rules are in place. This is, in the standing rules, and it's not difficult. So I will support, taking it back, sending her an email, please revise, please comply, and let her do the work and get back to us in time for the next meeting. I would support that. But whatever this committee do decide, because I think we have to stand with the standing rules instead of giving, exceptions, because this will help us. And thank goodness we don't have 25, 30 amendments. And if it did, and I'm just disappointed that we would have to deal with this here. In the past, the convention committee or the acceptance of this would notice. And that's when we can say, hey, take a look at that. You still have time. So we can make sure when people write things on paper, it means something. So that's a disappointment because I think overall this is good, but I can't even go beyond that because we have to deal with the submission. Thank you very much, Chair.
Thank you. I see Renee has her hand raised. You recognize Renee?
Yes, I move that we postpone discussion of the PPP amendment until tomorrow's meeting to allow an amendment to be prepared to put it in the proper format.
That's what my motion is.
Oh, good. Thank you.
Was that your motion?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just if I may, I want to clarify something that, historically speaking, if something's been accepted by the convention committee and it comes to us, if we can send it back to the maker and ask for clarity, that does, I did not intend for my motion to kill this thing. I just intended it for them to be able to put it in the proper format. We've done that. Usually this is done in advance of these meetings, as Donna said earlier, either by the convention committee or staff or yeah. So it's to catch these things so we're not dealing with it at this time. But that's why I did raise it earlier, that with the hopes that somebody would go ahead and do that and take the initiative. I thought my motion was very clear that this would be for making sure it complies with Rule 5.1 of the standing rules, and the Rule 5.1 of the standing rules spells out exactly what everything needs to be done for it to be part of this, to come to this body. And so if we don't make other people follow, if the rules committee doesn't follow the rules, how can we expect anybody else to follow the rules? So yeah.
Let me get your motion typed out here. What's your motion, Michael? Let me type it out.
To send this submission back to the maker to comport, so they can make sure it comports with Rule 5.1 of the standing rules. And so and return it to us ready for the next meeting.
Oh no, not tomorrow. It's Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
Wednesday, May, what is that? Today's 11th or 13th?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The person who seconded this motion, is this what you recognizing in your second?
That's correct, Chair.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
So with that in mind, any further discussion? I see John Chinen, your hands up.
Yeah, would comply be a better word than comport?
I don't.
Yeah, that's fine. If the maker's okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Comply. Yeah. Comply. Yeah.
I see Renee's hand. You recognize?
Yes, thank you, Chair. No, that was I apologize, Michael. I did not realize that you were making a motion. I thought you were making the statement. But since it is a motion, I would be happy to support that as long as we are talking about the next meeting, which would allow it to have the opportunity to be voted upon during this week's submission.
Thank you. And for the sake of clarity, who was the maker? Who should I send this to?
Mina Marita.
Okay. Any further discussion on this motion? I see Elton has his hand up. Go, you're recognized, Elton.
Thank you, Chair. Yeah. Just a typo. You have comploy, not comply in the first line.
Sorry.
Thank you. That's all.
Thank you. Thank you. Any further discussion on this motion? I'll send it out just so it's clear if it's adopted. By thumbs up to roll call if you'd like the roll call. Are you wanting to roll call, Kate?
Yes.
Okay. Any other? I need 5 to roll call. Is that a roll call, Martha? Yes. Okay, I see 2.
No,
I need
I'm
3
sorry.
more if you want.
I don't care about a roll call. I thought this was unanimous, but if she needs a roll call, I'll support that. It's a sorry. I'm
Okay,
confused.
we got two for roll call. Anyone else want the roll call? That's 3 for roll call. Anyone else? Okay, seeing none, motion carries by unanimous consent. Thank you. I will send this out to Mina after the meeting. The next item we have is State Central Committee officer eligibility. That's my own summary, by the way, but this is what the amendment is.
Doesn't have the rest of the stuff.
It's a definition of candidate as well in the bylaws. It came together. Any,
I move that we pass as presented.
do we get a second?
Wait.
Well,
We got a
I'll
motion
second
by-
it while Kate says wait and figures out.
Wait.
That's no problem, but I'll
Okay.
second it in the meantime.
Okay, we got a motion by Michael Galoyu, seconded by Member Randolph to pass as is. Any discussion? I'll go from left to right. Renee, you recognized? Renee, where'd you go? Oh, did you want to speak, Renee?
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yes, I have a question
Sure.
about this and some concerns. Why is it that that we are restricting this prohibition to only the chair, the treasurer, and the deputy treasurer, as opposed to also the vice chair and other members of the committee, and also to all members of the SCC? If somebody could give me that info, I'd appreciate it.
As the maker of the motion, you want me to
Go ahead, Michael.
Sure.
Yeah, as the maker.
I took what was already there and just didn't expound on who was by. But if you wanted to amend it to add the vice chair, I'd be perfectly fine with that. But to do that to the entire SEC, when you're talking the rest of the SEC members, the prohibition's already there. And this has, we've seen this erode over the last, this prohibition change over time. In 2022, or I want to say the Standing Rules Committee of 2021 made a decision that you're not a candidate until you actually file. That decision was never upheld by the SEC. Then we got into a bit of hot water with what do you call it? And when we had to remove the next chair for cause, And so one of the people that was willing to come forward, using the same exemption that was already in place, considered standard, and to their credit, to both the chair of the party in 2020 to 2022, as well as the interim party chair, they neither campaigned while they were party chair, while they were in that position. Since then, we've had seen a total thing just go out the window, that this prohibition that we currently have a party chair that is actively campaigning, actively fundraising while still being party chair. That never happened in the past. We've always had this prohibition there. And so that this and we're seeing in real time what this coloring outside the lines is getting us. You can't tell, in some cases, you can't tell where his campaign Instagram begins and the party ends. And so looking to provide clear guidance to anybody seeking these positions that the prohibition's there. We just need to make sure it is much more explicit in this, because when it comes to running this party, you need someone that has 100% of their eye on the ball in these last few, especially as we head into these last few months, as we head into convention. And luckily, either the chair in 2022 or the interim party chair in 2024 were campaigning while taking care of the business of this party. And so that's the reason this is before us today. And I've heard complaint after complaint from party members, not knowing who's doing what's happening, why are we not hearing things, and delays in getting people appointed to committees.
Okay.
So, yeah. So that's why we're here.
Thanks. I'll just add that, Renee, specifically to your question, it looks like Michael just took the text he struck out and dropped it down. So, the reason why it doesn't include other positions by the original drafters, I don't know, but I think that was you were just following what was he struck out, right, Michael?
Correct.
Parallelism, yeah. I see Kate with her hand up, and then after Kate, Linda.
Okay, my question is, are we looking at two different changes? And if so, why don't we send this back to the maker to require for each one the same following of the rule? I mean, on
I
my
will show
12
you
and 13,
what was
12 and
submitted.
13, you've got two different proposals here.
Is this the one? Yeah, this is the actual submission.
That's correct, Jesse. This is Donna.
Yeah. Yeah, so this is the actual submission. There was more in there. I trimmed some off of the report.
It looks like there's two different things being proposed. One is Article 5, other is Article 9.
In the bylaw.
Yes.
That's correct. And it looks like they have a proposal, impacts, and rationale for both.
I don't see that in my printout. I see the impacts under the Article 9, but not the Article
here,
5.
look at the screen, Kate. This is the actual submission.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
My report is I prettied it up for report purposes, so not all of the stuff that was in the submission is in there. So this is what the submission looked like, the certified submission.
So it does conform to the requirements of the standing committee rules. Is that correct?
It does look like
it. Everything? Does it have everything? Current language, proposed amendment, where's impacts and rationale?
Here.
Okay. Okay, so it's got all four elements, all the elements required?
Like it.
Okay, and the second one, do you have all four elements too?
I won't speak for the submitter, but it looks like he intended that the impacts and rationale cover both.
Because per 5.1.7, each submission is limited to a single topic unless the amendment to the Constitution requires a bylaws amendment. And the second paragraph of the expanded Constitution refers to a definition of candidate, and the definition of candidate can be found in the bylaws, and that is what was provided.
Okay, so you have both there under one proposal because the amendment in the, and the Constitution requires the bylaws. So you have to do both. Is that right,
The-
Michael?
The way it's currently written, yes.
Okay, and so then you do have the impacts and the justification.
Mhm.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure so that we apply all the rules to everybody. So I see it now. Thank you.
Thank you, Kate. Any further discussion on the oh, I'm sorry, Linda. I think you're on mute.
Thank you,
Oh, there you are.
Chair. Can you hear me?
Yes.
I have a question about this definition of candidate. There's two parts that I think might be a little bit vague. The first part is that candidate shall mean any individual who has publicly declared their intention to seek nomination or election to public office. I'm not really sure what publicly declared means. Does that mean like they tell their family and friends? Does that mean that they post it on Facebook? I'm not sure what that means. And then my second question is this part about authorized or formed a new candidate committee. I guess I'm thinking, and first of all, let me say I support the intention of this proposed change. I appreciate what it's trying to do. I just think that these two areas are a little bit vague, like authorized a new candidate committee. I don't really know what that means. I know what it means when a new candidate committee is formed. You file the organizational report, and that's very specific. So I don't know if there's a way to clarify those two things.
Michael?
Well, the publicly declared, I pulled directly from the HRS with regards to like the Merit Appeals Board. But if you are a member of Merit, so telling your family and friends, I would not say is publicly declared. Posting it to social media, pulling the paperwork, creating, going out and creating a Facebook page, creating Instagram, so solely for the purposes of running, and authorized would be that allowing somebody to go out and do any of this in your name, and you're like, oh, it's not me, I didn't. But if it's your name on a candidate committee, yeah, you did sort of. You can't. I don't think. Last time I checked, when you go to the Campaign Spending Commission, you cannot just go and start a campaign without the candidate signing off on it. So that was. If you have better language, I'm open to amendments to make it as clear as can be, so make sure everybody understands. But the publicly declared came directly from our HRS. Yeah. So if you do an interview, so.
Can you point me, or if you could put in the chat the HRS section, that'd be really helpful if there is a current definition. I guess I just want to be, clear about this rule, that there's a bright line of when you are not a candidate and when you become a candidate, so that it's very clear to everybody when this rule, if it is adopted in the future, if the rule is ever violated. Thank you.
Any further discussion? I see Abby and then Anthony after. You're recognized, Abby.
There, just a comment. If we scroll down to, or scroll up, I guess, in terms of the rule amendment.
Abby, I can't hear you. Can you speak up?
Sure. Can you hear me better now?
Barely. Abby, we need you a little louder.
Okay, can you hear me better now?
Mike, yeah, mouth closer to mic makes it better. Thank you.
Okay. Apologies. So question about the last line, where it says, any officer of the State Central Committee who violates this provision shall be conclusively presumed to have abandoned their office and the position shall be deemed vacant. So my question here is, when this rule goes into effect at the convention, will this automatically cause our current chair to have abandoned their position or their office before the end of the convention?
Good question. I think the rules, well, the convention votes on the rules, and then it becomes the law of the convention, right? A law of the party, right?
When the gavel goes down,
When the gavel goes down.
has been our interpretation historically.
At the end of the convention.
Yes.
That sounds reasonable. Okay. But we probably should is it written down somewhere? Is it in our bylaws or something? Yeah. What's wrong with this committee? We gotta add that. Is it
Yeah,
we
sorry.
can we can actually add, if we wanted to. I mean, do we want to add just a tiny clause in the Constitution that rules become effective at the end of the convention?
I think
That would be
make
a late
sense.
submission and require a 2/3 vote to add.
Yeah, we can talk about that at our next meeting. To think about it. That just makes a lot of sense.
Chair,
Yes.
just a follow-up. So my concern would just be that this would take effect immediately still during the convention and cause an issue with our current chair. And so until I know for sure that that's not the case, I can't support this.
Any further discussion? Oh, I see. Anthony has your hand raised, and then Elton, and then Renee.
Aloha. I would just put into the chat propose amendment language to clarify the authorized term, because the candidate is authorizing or have authorized any person to form. I'm not sure how we would determine that, but it would clarify the authorized language.
So it would read authorized
Any person
to form.
So in the hypothetical, I would imagine someone creating a durable or specific power of attorney by which someone could then go and drop off the forms on behalf of someone else with their signatures already on. Again, just trying to offer clarity for that term that seems ambiguous. So that would be recommended. Yeah.
So that bracketed is my way of showing that something's been deleted, and the language would look like that. Authorized any person to form a new candidate.
Yeah, you would still need or formed a new candidate committee, because that is the trigger for the bright line that the previous speaker talked about.
Or form.
Yeah. This is if you're authorizing someone to do it on your behalf and go through the legwork, which I would say is very similar to if you you secured a domain and you did a Instagram post. It's all pre-work to candidacy that's likely meaning you're going to run.
Is that a motion?
So I'm offering that as a potential motion, and if the person that brought up the question earlier finds it sufficient, she can second. If she doesn't, then we let it fall. Or if anybody
Do
thinks
I-
it's clearer.
Do I get a
I'll
second?
Second.
Seconded by Linda, motion made by Anthony. So now we're talking about the amendment. Any comments or discussion on the amendment? I see Renee has her hand raised. You're recognized.
Okay. I'm not speaking about this amendment. So I
Okay,
will
let's hold
lower
off
my
then.
head and come back.
Thank you, Renee. Michael, you speaking about the amendment?
I rise in support of the amendment. Thank you. That's
Thank
it.
you.
That's all I wanted to say.
Any further discussion on the amendment? Seeing none, let's vote on the amendment to the motion. I need 5 hands if you want to do a roll call. Seeing none, amendment to the motion carries. So we're back to the original motion. Any further discussion on passing this as amended? I see Elton, you're recognized.
Thank you, Chair. I guess the way I would interpret these amendments are basically that the period in which a person becomes a candidate is further pushed back. You're not officially a candidate until you actually file your nomination papers between February and June. But actually, a lot of people have fundraisers or they establish their campaign committees in December or November of the previous year. I think the intent is to allow the SEC to really make that common sense determination that if a person establishes a campaign committee or holds a fundraiser, that person is a candidate. I'm not sure about the presumption and whether that would indicate that somehow who would determine that the person was presumptively not a candidate and would I guess there's a slight discrepancy that I don't quite understand between the SEC making a decision that a person is a candidate by voting that person out and a presumption which would somehow be automatic that this person is no longer chair or whatever position that person has. Thank you.
I recognize Michael Oyu, Senior, and then Renee after.
It was about the discussion about when this is effect. I'm not speaking for Dr. Pruitt, but from the past experience, yes, they're passed at the convention, but they don't take effect because they have to be reviewed and checked for minor changes, and then they're posted and they're affected after the convention.
Renee, you're recognized.
Thank you, Chair. Would it be in order to make further amendments at this time?
Sure.
Okay. I would like to move to postpone this particular provision until tomorrow, in which there would be time to write a more comprehensive amendment, which would cover all members of the State Central Committee officers, as opposed to the selected ones that are currently in this provision. So I'm
So
moving
you-
to postpone till Wednesday. This so that I, for one, would have time to make a more comprehensive amendment.
So a motion to defer or postpone to a certain time requires a second, is debatable, and can pass with a majority. So does that motion to defer this to the next meeting have a second? Seeing no second, sorry, motion fails, Renee.
No problem. I'll just write real fast right now.
I see Anthony has his hand up. You're recognized.
Like the previous speaker, trying to offer some more clarity. I am offering an amendment for publicly declared, if this would be helpful. It encapsulates the ideas that we've talked about from our past experience for candidacy. So,
You can see Anthony's offer of amendment in the chat. I will paste it here just so you can see what it looks like. Will I get a second on this motion to amend? Folks want to take a minute to read? I'll give you a minute to read it. That's good for on the fly.
I was trying to get as much of the concepts like social media, newspaper,
Yeah.
somebody do them on your behalf, a fundraiser, like,
Yeah.
but this is the reality of candidates, right? Like you got to run
Yeah.
before you actually file by the filing date deadline. If you don't,
Mhm.
you're not viable in most times.
Do we have a second to Anthony's motion?
This is Michael. I'll second.
Michael seconds. Any discussion? Hearing none. I need 5 hands up if you'd like to have a roll call, or we go directly to unanimous. Seeing none, amendment is adopted unanimously, and we go back to the main motion. The motion on the table is to adopt with the 2 amendments we just made. Any further discussion? Seeing none, I need 5 hands. Oh, Anthony, did you want to discuss?
Yes, Chair. I had a question along the lines of the previous speaker regarding the presumption. So is this clarification we're putting in here, any officer of the State Central Committee who violates the provision shall be conclusively presumed? Is there a reason? I'm trying to understand why we're presuming versus saying that if any officer does this, the office is vacated, period. Like if that's the intent, then we can get out with who has the authority, and it's the body that says you cannot hold 2 at the same time. So if you're holding this, you vacate, period. There's no interpretation. If that was the intent. If that was not the intent, then you wanted to get the SEC some level of guidance or interpretation. I think we should save them that fight by just clarifying it now. I'm okay with either. I just want to know where we want to go.
I'll just before giving it to the drafter, I'll say that having been involved in drafting rules for the party for a while, sometimes there are rules where we want the party or the chair to have some discretion, and sometimes, like you say, we just want it to be automatic. If you don't meet this criteria, you're out. It seems I think that's what this says. But then I think that there would be some debate about, the publicly declared. And ultimately, at the end of the day, the SEC would make a decision on this kind of thing. Those are my thoughts. But Michael, you're the maker. You have any thoughts you want to add?
I do. Yeah, basically, not to give the SEC any wiggle room, because it's like, who is it fair to? If somebody's like, oh, yeah. So basically, the reason that this is there is just basically this is the hammer that comes down. Did you violate this? You're out.
Yeah, I see Michael has his hand raised. You recognize Michael? I mean, not Michael. I'm sorry, Elton. You recognize Elton. You may be on mute.
Yep. Thank you, Chair. I had to unmute myself. So I think the language has clarified it. I think we all understand when somebody is actually declaring, that extra language really helps. I'm just a little bit concerned that there's just a mechanism here. It's not really clear who determines when somebody is conclusively violating this. So my concern is, I think you can kick somebody out, but I think it's really a good idea to have the SEC make that decision. You can have the language saying that this person has conclusively violated it, but I think the SEC has to actually kick this person out. Otherwise, who decides? What if the state chair is the person who is violate? I guess that person would have to recuse, but who makes the call if it's not the SEC? I guess that's my question.
Well, it always falls back to the SEC for rule interpretation. So the ultimate authority is with the SEC. Although sometimes the parliamentarian likes to think, but it's the SEC that has the final say. Any further discussion? Did you want to offer an amendment, Renee? I see you have one in the chat. No? Okay, I need 5 votes if you want a roll call. I see 2 hands up. Kate, are you putting your hand up?
Yes.
Okay, because you did the thumbs, but I'll take it.
Sir.
Okay, that's 4.
Sorry, Chair.
It's okay.
I had a question before sorry, my hand was. Can I ask the question?
We're kind of in voting now.
Yeah, but I had a question regarding.
You can't ask a question while a vote is being conducted. I'm sorry.
Mr. Chair, I stand as a point of order that you had a member raising their hand for a procedural inquiry, and there was a lack of calling on that member.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, having been recognized by the chair, it's like, I wish to clarify that can we at this time amend this so that we can clarify that this section, if go through this section, would be implemented at the end of the term, not the end of the gavel, but the end of the current election term of officers. I'm asking for an amendment for implementation when it starts, which is permissible. When does this go into effect? The effect would be at the end of the officer's term to address questions and concerns that came up by previous members.
Do you want to offer an amendment in the chat?
Yep.
Renee, I see your hand up. You're recognized. Oh, you put yourself on mute, Renee. Now you're okay. Oh, no, back on mute. You're back on mute, Renee.
Well, darn.
Okay, now you're
All
good.
Aren't we still in the middle of counting of hands for roll call?
That was true.
In which case, I'll be real quiet until you're finished.
Yeah.
$2027. I'm sorry.
Okay, the motion is in the chat. Do I get a second on that?
Second.
And where would we put this? I'm sorry.
So, Mr. Chair, it would be in the report under the amendment as an additional standalone recommendation,
okay.
saying when it's implemented, right? So
so
everything else
so
will be
we-
implemented end of gavel. This will be implemented
Yeah.
at the
So
end
we
of
don't
offices or
we
January.
don't do it that way at the party, but we can stick it in here somewhere.
But I'll wait till there's a second. Was there already a second?
Yeah, but I didn't know where it went. I'm sorry. Where does it go?
Oh,
It's an amendment to the motion, to the language that we have on the screen.
So it would go into your. It would go. So in your report, when you have the Ramsayer version as stipulated, it's like you would also add that the implementation at the end of the entire Ramsayer of that it will be implemented exactly.
This is where I'll put it. This provision shall take effect at the end of the current term of offices on January 1st, whichever is sooner.
Yes, that's fine.
Okay, this is the motion to add this. And the person who seconded, is this okay?
Yes. Thank you.
That was Donna?
No, I didn't second.
It's Abby.
Oh, who seconded?
Abby.
Abby. Oh, thank you, Abby.
Sorry.
This provision shall take effect at the end of the current term of offices or January 1st, 2027, whichever is sooner. Okay. Any discussion? I see Donna's hand up. You recognized?
Thank you, Chair. Makana, could you explain that last sentence? I'm trying to gauge what has been happening in the past.
May I respond, Chair?
Oh, yes, please.
Okay, no problem. So, Auntie Donna, so all of this, from what I've heard from the previous members in our current discussion, that there's some hakaka that's going on in the party with candidate running, when's the bright lines for when you can run for office, when you can't. And one of the issues is if this our clarification pass, which I'm supportive of, it may implicate people currently in leadership position or on the SCC. And that may cause its own level of disruption. So we have a choice to say, we think we need to clarify, but let bygones be bygones until January 1st or when you term out, or we can, if this fails, be like, no, we're going to deal with the disruption at the end of convention. So we get two choices.
Okay.
I think, yes.
I understand now. So let me tell you, being part of the party, when the gavel hits, all new elected persons take place. They take their seats. Then soon thereafter the convention, they have the SCC meeting, and this is at the end. That this year is going to be May 30th, and then they elect all these officers. At the SCC elects these officers. Then normally the timeline to file for anything is June 1st. And that's already kind of too late. So to me, I think this provision is moot because all the SCC members who is running at this convention will take their seats soon after the convention. So this will be for the next go around because election has happened, or they'll hammer things out for the new officers at the end of the convention, which takes place right away. So I don't think your amendment makes any sense to carry that over. Or I may be wrong.
Okay, I see that Richard has his hand up, followed
Can
by
I-
Michael.
Can I respond why? Oh, go right ahead.
Do I have the floor?
Yes.
Yeah, I do agree with the previous speaker, Donna. All officers' terms ends when the next SEC is elected. The other comment I want to make about implementation of any rule changes is that my understanding has always been that the rule changes really take effect in the next cycle. For example, if we make changes to district councils, for example, we can't do anything until the next set of precinct meetings and elections. So it doesn't take effect immediately. It takes a while for everybody to review any changes to the rules. And in order to implement them, it may take another cycle to really implement any rule changes that may occur at the convention.
I see Michael and then back to Anthony.
Yeah. I don't think this amendment is necessary, but I also don't think it hurts. The only thing is current term, and since this is going to be in our constitution and we can't touch it, current term then moves forward after it's passed and it's thrown up. It becomes something that for the next, I guess, for the next commission, the next convention to just go in and remove. But like the previous speaker said, we cannot do anything retroactively to somebody. We can't change the rules, and that's basically what we're doing. We're going to be changing the rules on everybody. These rules don't actually take effect until the gavel goes down. The new SEC doesn't take effect until the gavel goes down. If we change how delegates are allocated in a provision in this, it doesn't wipe out those delegates if we pass that at this thing, or we change the quorum requirements for convention. That does not change. That automatically does not take effect. You are in the middle. The way Robert rules.
Okay,
cannot
sorry,
change
Michael.
Sorry.
Hey, sorry to cut you off, but this is a point of order, so I'll jump in here. It's in the Constitution. The effective date of amendments of the Constitution is immediately upon adjournment of the convention.
There you go. Well, hey, we actually have something in writing.
It's there. We don't have to do it. Okay, sorry to jump in.
Okay,
Anthony,
thank
go
you.
ahead.
So the only reason why I think this might be important is because with the ambiguity of understanding, particularly with candidate committee members being deputy treasurers, people that are on candidate committees, not just candidates themselves, would be prohibited from certain types of offices as well. And if that's the case, these people did not know that necessarily going into this election cycle, and they might be on the ballot already. And I just don't know all of the information. That's the reason why I'm putting in the provision, is because I don't know, because that's not our job here at Rules. I just want to make sure that if we have those people there, that they have a time frame by which to address this before it just blows up in their face, and they might want to resign, they might want to rethink. I don't know. But if people don't want it, I'm not gonna die on this hill.
Donna, you're recognized.
Thank you, Chair. I really don't believe this is needed. You're running for SCC, you have the first meeting is when you get organized. that hammer comes down, whatever it is adopted. They don't have to, they get nominated. So fast forward, if they want to really serve as officers of the SCC, they pay attention to what's on the floor. And they go, it's going to be prohibited. I better not, because it's a lot of work. So don't nominate me because I am going to run for office. I'm going to file tomorrow, whatever have you. There is 60 other people waiting to run for whatever positions. So this just complicates things to me, because the first initial is after the convention when the hammer hits. And thank you, Jesse, for bringing that up, because it's not like a couple weeks down the line you're going to implement. It is when the gavel hits, man, and everybody has to definitely shift. And it's normally the chair, and the administration, that gets this all done. But I just want to say that it's just more confusing to me. Thank you.
Any further discussion to this amendment? Seeing none, the motion is to adopt the language that's highlighted. I need 5 hands up to do a roll call on this amendment. I see 1, 2, 3, 4. I think I see 5. Okay, can we get a roll call vote?
Yeah, sure. Hold on one moment.
Thank you.
Okay, again, apologies for this not being in any particular order, but Michael Goloyu Sr.,
No. Not to adopt.
okay. Donna Domingo,
No.
okay, Donna Domingo, no. Richard Oshiro,
No.
Richard Oshiro, no. Martha Randolph,
Can you come back to me at the end, Chair? I need to read it again.
okay. Anthony McConna Paris,
Yes.
Anthony McConna Paris, yes. John Chinnan,
No.
John Chinnan, no. Kate Stanley,
No.
Kate Stanley, no. Troy Hashimoto, Troy Hashimoto. Okay, moving on. Abby Simmons,
Yes.
Abby Simmons, yes. Linda Chong,
No.
Linda Chong, no. Liz Holmes,
Yes.
Liz Holmes, yes. Elton Fukumoto,
No.
Elton Fukumoto, no. Michael Goloyu Jr.,
No.
Michael Goloyu Jr., no. Eileen Wada,
No.
Eileen Wada, no. Okay, and Micah Kalama, Micah Kalama, I don't think so, he's on this call. Okay, going back to Martha Randolph. Martha,
I'm going to abstain on this vote, please. Is that allowed? I've never even thought about it. I never did it before.
sure, I can write that in. Okay, so, and then finally we have Renee Rabb.
Yes.
Jesse. Okay, so Renee Rabb, yes, and then Jesse Suki.
Abstain.
Abstain. And just one time again, Troy Hashimoto. Troy Hashimoto. Okay, so Chair, you have 4 yeses, 9 noes, and through 2 abstains.
The motion fails to carry. We're back to the original motion. Any discussion on the original motion to pass these amendments with amendments to the Constitution and bylaws? Any further discussion? I need 5 hands up to do a roll call. Seeing none, seeing 1. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. We are now on Caucus and Young Democrats endorsement proposal. What say you, committee? Any motion?
I move that we pass it as presented.
I second the motion.
Motion by Michael Galoya Jr. to pass as is, second by Martha Randolph. Discussion. I see Kate has her hand up. You're recognized, Kate?
Yes, I have the same question. Is this submission complete? I don't see the impacts paragraph.
It's it's the justification that they have here.
Yes, I don't see the impacts. I think that's required by the rule.
Yeah, let's see what the original was. This is convention submission rules, vacancies. Which one was this? Is it this one? Democrat.
Yeah,
so yeah, so it's the same as in the document. Yeah.
Okay, is there an impact paragraph?
Is the maker here and want to?
I don't see it in what you're showing.
If you go, I'm the maker. So may I proceed, Chair?
Yes.
If you go to the document, what is it titled? DPH Constitution Article 8, Section 4, impacts caucuses of the Young Democrats.
Okay.
It gives the articles. It gives the articles. I give you the page, the lines.
Okay, I see it now, Michael. It's just didn't
there's the
occur-
impacts. Yeah, there it is.
It didn't occur where I saw the others. And then Jesse, the chair's abbreviated versions that doesn't show. I just want to make sure that when we apply the rules, we apply them to everyone. Okay, thank you, Michael.
Sorry, I actually missed that. That was my fault. Any discussion on the amendments before us? I see Michael Galoya Jr. with his hand up. You're recognized.
Thank you. For a long time, we have 2 SWOT analyses coming from the Democratic National Committee asking us why this party does not endorse. And since we've had a long term of not endorsing as a party, but there's been a great need for at least some type of vetting of candidates and leaving it to the caucuses to decide if they choose to do this or not. I bring this forward because we have people in this party that actively go against platforms or entire swaths of our platform, our resolutions on a regular basis. Of one current member of the House and one current member of the Senate comes running to mind. But as we stand here today, there is a current MAGA person running against a Democrat in Waikiki. And so this gives the caucuses and the Young Democrats the ability to, if they choose to use it, to go out and endorse candidates. It also requires that however process they follow, also requires that gives access to all their members to vote on the endorsement. Caucuses are required, and so are the Young Democrats, are required to have their own membership lists, so they would be able to take care of that provision. I provided a lengthy justification, but I do want to say that there was this statement that, we're all part of one Ohana when you join the Democratic Party. But when you have somebody in your ohana beating up another member, you need to give them at least one tool to defend themselves. And this would provide that tool for us to at least begin this process. Yeah. So this doesn't. Yeah, we're not going after a member for a single vote. It gives the caucuses and to come up with a process and the Young Democrats to be able to endorse. So I encourage everybody to vote this yes. Give us the power and the authority. We're already semi-autonomous. We should be allowed to do this, and this would put us in line with the SWOT analysis that we've gotten from the DNC, not once but twice in my time that I've been sitting on the SCC. Mahalo.
Thank you. I see Richard Oshiro. You're recognized. You're mute, Richard.
Got it. I just had a
Okay.
question for those who are voting on this question. If we're going to allow the caucuses and the Young Democrats to endorse, why would we limit it to just those two groups? Why wouldn't we let everybody endorse someone if they wanted to? That may not belong to a caucus or to the YDs.
Do you want me to respond?
Yeah, before you respond, I'll just say that the way that caucuses and the Young Democrats are formed in the Constitution, they seem to have more autonomy than other entities. For example, the Young Democrats and caucuses cannot spend party money on their endorsements. Is that right, Michael? I mean, that was my thought when I saw this.
If this passes, the party would have to reevaluate that, but because we have a process, a policy it's in place. So this would allow you can't use party resources, and there's a lot more spending money is a lot bigger issue. Endorsing, letting them to use their personal lists would allow them to do it that way, using their social media to get their word out. But that is a bigger question, should this pass, that needs to be addressed by the SEC when they go to amend the policy that we have when it comes to contested primaries. It's in our policy section on the website. So yeah.
Here was my thought, Richard, when I read this. When we talk about caucuses in the Constitution, the SEC may certify autonomous caucuses. So they're sort of different, but there's the Kupuna caucus, right? What about that? Or the Labor caucus? I don't know. Abby, you're recognized, and then Martha.
Hello, Chair. I stand in support of this rule change and this amendment, and we've got really good reason to do this. And as Michael had in a much better way already said than I can, we felt that we are kind of tied, our hands are tied, and we can't support the candidates and legislators who support our community and support our communities. And, the very least that we can do as a caucus when we ask for the help and the support of our elected officials is to return the favor by recognizing the work that they have done on the behalf of our community. And so I think that it brings us in line with other state parties across the continent in terms of how they are empowered to give their communities and their caucuses voices and have a little bit more of a way to say thank you to those who support those caucuses, whether you're environmental caucus or you're Stonewall. I think it's just very, very important for us to have that voice and it also helps us increase our credibility, and it also helps with engagement, bringing in other people, new people into our caucuses, knowing that we have this tool available to us where we can thank those who stand with us and support us. Mahalo.
I see Martha, you're recognized, and then Elton.
Okay, briefly, I support this amendment as well. As Michael said, the most important thing is that there are far too many Republican Democrats. They defy the very principles of the Democratic Party constantly. They live here in Hawaii. They defy the will of the people, and they vote with whatever special group is paying them the most. And we can't do a damn thing about it, because if we stand up and say, well, you're not really a Democrat, get the hell out of the party, we lose their donation to the party that helps us survive. So this is a very little way for some of us to be able to stand up and say, this person does not get my vote and I don't support him. And this other person does get my vote. And in the state of Hawaii, of all places, we have to differentiate between our Democrats. So I support Michael's amendment. That's it. Thank you.
Elton, you're recognized.
Yes, Chair, thank you. I rise in support of this amendment. I think really, for me, the key is the young Democrats. And I think that whenever you discuss something like endorsements, that's always a very interesting kind of political discussion. I do agree with Abby that on the positive side, this will encourage people to join the Young Democrats and will encourage people to join the other caucuses as well, because this is really a very central part of politics in this state. You know, who will you support? And having been part of those discussions, I know it's very exciting. So I think this would be a boost to the caucuses. So I'm in favor. Thank you.
I see Kate and then Renee. You're recognized, Kate.
Yes, I support this amendment because I think this is an important role the caucuses and the Young Democrats can play. However, I would like to caution everybody not to make judgments about all Democrats just because they don't agree with all of us all the time. I don't think that's a fair characterization that they're not good Democrats. Thank you.
I see Renee and then Anthony.
My concern is what happens within a primary when you have two caucuses that endorse opposing candidates. For example, I can certainly see the possibility of that happening between the Labor Caucus and the Environmental Caucus. And I think that could be problematic. And that's it. That's all I've got to say.
Thank you, Renee. Anthony?
I support, and also I'm wondering if to address Uncle Richard Oshiro's concern about other subunits, if we wanted to entertain allowing House district units to act for endorsements within their own units. They can't endorse for any other unit, but they're the Democrats on the ground in their units. Would we consider that? And I would offer that up. If you think it's a great idea, Second Amendment. If not, don't worry.
So that would go, where is it?
Right after Young Democrats, and then just appropriate.
The Young Democrats, and then with the exception of the caucuses and Young Democrats and House District units acting in their own district.
Right. So they kind of go run rogue and, endorse for outside of their district, but they should be the ones that knows what's going on the ground in their district.
Motion is offered. Any second? Any second?
I have my hand up. Richard, second.
You second? Seconded by Richard. Amendment by Anthony Paris, seconded by Richard Oshiro. Any discussion on the amendment?
Discussion.
That's the highlighted language. Go ahead.
When we say House District, does it include here we have regions on Oahu, which comprise multiple districts, as an example. That's what I was thinking of in terms of endorsements. We don't right now because we're not supposed to endorse in the primary, but if we were by rule allowed to endorse, I take it we could, and that could lead to all districts endorsing someone, and what that could lead to is a lot of turmoil, because I can see where districts or regions, not everybody agrees in terms of the candidates. In this election, for example, some districts have 5 Democrats running. So how do you make a choice there? If the districts were to vote and say, we're going to pick one candidate over others, I can see that where that could lead to a huge division. Same thing with what one of the other speakers mentioned, where you could have differences between caucus endorsements. For example, PRP and their endorsement of the lieutenant governor's candidate, Kawakami. I mean, if there was somebody that was running that had a lot of recognition and stature, you could have a labor caucus endorse the PRP candidate and others endorsing someone else. So again, that could lead to a big split in the primary election between Democrats. And the whole idea of the prohibition against endorsing in the primary was to avoid that kind of turmoil and conflict between Democrats. And the whole idea of not endorsing is that when the general election comes about, that's when we all get together and support the candidate that the Democrats elect, not just the party, but the whole electorate. So that was my comment about going down this particular path in terms of having different groups amongst Democrats endorsing candidates in the primary. It may be a good idea, but still, I can see us running into problems with it.
Thank you. I see Kate, Elton, Martha, and Michael in that order. Please keep your comments to the amendment being offered. Kate, you're recognized.
Thank you. I'm opposed to the amendment being offered for the reasons that Richard Oshiro just articulated.
Thank you. Elton?
Thank you, Chair. I'm against the amendment because I think it's outside the scope of the original amendment, because it adds something quite different that I think we need time to think about. It's a big step. I don't think it belongs here because it's, I think, another entire different question that's outside of the scope of the original amendment. So I don't think it's I don't think it's good to vote on this here. Thank you.
Thank you. Martha, and then Michael.
Yeah, I'm just going to answer the questions that were raised in concern about gang fights between caucuses that would take place, or districts getting together, assuming you could find 4 or 5 people in your district that even went to the district meeting to be elected to be a part of the district. The reason that's not going to happen is because most of these caucuses and district meetings would be really happy to get 10 people to show up. So what I see happening, and what I think could be very exciting, is that maybe if the people who do show up choose to support a particular candidate, other people in the district or the caucus or whatever would say, wait a minute, I don't agree with that. Maybe I should join that caucus or join that district or get in with the Young Democrats so that maybe my voice can be heard, because that is why people join. Anyway, I'm going with whatever Michael Jr. put together because I liked what it said originally. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Michael, you recognized.
Thank you. I rise in opposition to this thing. This party needs to learn how to walk before we run. This throws us into a marathon race, and we're and it's actually incomplete because it also doesn't require that allowing every member in that House district to vote on those endorsements as well. We have trouble getting our House districts together just for the March 4th meetings. That's just how it is. The caucuses, those that choose, actually have bylaws, they actually have structure, they actually have things that they can deal with and have what have you. So while I appreciate the intent, unfortunately, this is just, I think, too soon, too much. And this has been a nut I've been trying to crack for years, and I went with the most simplest thing. Let's see if this works out. Maybe it doesn't, maybe it does, and then we can look at expanding in 2 years, 4 years. And so I encourage you to vote this amendment down, and so we can get back and get on with the rest of the show. Mahalo.
Anthony, briefly, you're recognized.
If Uncle Richard is willing to withdraw, I'm willing to withdraw so we can not need a vote. But up to him.
No, I can withdraw.
Then I withdraw. We don't need vote.
The motion is actually belongs to the floor, so we got to vote on it. But we can be fast. I need 5 for roll call.
Oh, you can ask if there's any objection to remove taking the amendment back and see if anybody objects.
Any objections to taking the amendment back? I see Kate has her hand up. No? Any objections to taking it back? That's not Roberts, but I can live with that. That's the that's the will of the committee.
It's the party version of Roberts.
Yeah. My favorite opening of Roberts is not intended to undermine rulemaking, right? So, the work of the committee or something like that. Okay, so we're back to the original motion. Any further discussion on the original motion as proposed? Seeing none, I need 5 for roll call. 5 for roll call. Seeing none, unanimously adopted. Okay, I scheduled the meeting for 6 to 8. It's 7:48. We got 2 provisions left. We can do these on Wednesday, along with the third provision that we're going to ask Nina to redraft. Is that okay with the committee? Yeah. Okay. So before I close, I see Renee and Kate has the hands up. Renee, you recognized? Renee? No, where'd you go, Renee? Kate, you recognized?
Thank you, Chair. Because I've asked this question, you can expect that I'll ask it both on the next 2 amendments to make sure that they follow the rule that they've been properly submitted. Because on I see justification, I don't see impacts. So maybe it's just because you shortened it, but I want to make sure that these have been properly submitted also.
Yeah, I will say that, let's see, do they have inserted? Yeah, I don't see, well, they don't name it an impact, but they have language. We can talk about this, but I'll tell you what, I am not an advocate for or against submissions. So if someone from the committee wants to go look at this and determine that it is or is not in the proper form and notify the party who submitted it. Otherwise, we're voting on this stuff on Wednesday. Unless you folks want to do it now.
No, but I thought, Chair, that we were taking them one by one. So that's going to be my question for each one. So if you want to get ahead of the game, just
You
check.
know, people can read the rules, you know.
Yeah, I know.
It's a lot of work for this party. And
Kate, both of those do have justifications. I don't know if
Yeah.
they have the other thing you're looking for, but if you go to the bottom of the copies that are in.
And I see them. I see that part.
Yeah.
Good. So we got that.
I'm asking if they followed the format that is prescribed in the rule of the standing rule of the convention. Because I think we should treat each amendment proposed the same.
I agree. Yeah.
So if they don't have a part, if a part is missing, even though it looks like it's implied, I think it should be sent back to the maker.
If anyone knows who the maker of these motions are, feel free to reach out.
I think that has to come from the chair.
I believe the maker's in the room if they want to out themselves. If not, then I will tell the chair who they are after the meeting.
Okay, here's what we can do, because I'm not going to act without the direction of the committee. We can take up these two. So the first item is midterm vacancy recusal proposal.
I motion that we adjourn for the day.
I second the motion.
Sorry, Chair.
Who seconded?
Martha.
Martha. Okay. We don't vote on that, right?
Yeah,
you do.
Because it's
You
before.
do vote?
Yeah. Yep.
Before? Okay, anyone object to 5 hands to object to adjourning the meeting 8 minutes early? I see one objection. Any others? Seeing none. Motion adjourned. See you folks on Wednesday.
Jesse, before you go, are you going to write up that late proposal you were talking about so we can have that for the next meeting?
Oh, I think we found the answer. It's actually in the Constitution.
Oh, yeah. Okay, well, never mind then.
Yeah.
I can remember some things, but not everything after this long day.
No. You know, you read it so many times and you get a different understanding every time you read it.
Exactly.
Good job,
So-
committee members and chair and vice
Thank